The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Television, radio, internet, the world.
Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television discussion on WWE Extreme Rules, where the WWE and World Heavyweight Championship both changed hands. Also discussion on Raw from this past Monday night, John Cena versus The Miz in the rematch for the WWE Championship, and The Rock's birthday celebration. It was great, but did it go too far? Talk about that in addition to WWE purchasing TNA Wrestling, and TNA's changing of the guard. All that and so much more coming up right now here at PWRshow.com, on YouTube, and all across our media channels on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television. It's Friday, May 6th, 2011. Damian Nelson here sitting alongside David Octavius and Tiberius, the alleged
Hall of
Famer hero.
Wow, that's a pretty...
Oh, I'm sorry. No, actually, last time we were on ESPN Radio, you were verified as a Hall of Famer
Yes,
for
I
a
am.
backyard wrestling organization.
And for Chicago Pro Wrestling. Come on.
The only evidence is the promoter of the Backyard Wrestling Federation
I
that called
brought
into
the
the show.
plaque in. We've had pictures.
You're a liar. You're a liar. You've not brought that
That's
plaque
hurtful.
in.
That's hurtful.
You've not brought it in. Don't start this way
You
this
know
week.
what?
I understand where your hatred is coming from.
I'm a little frustrated.
Because 365 days a year in this draft, I'm going to be whooping your ass with my 365
How many
points that
points
I
did
have
you get
right
on the
now.
draft night on Ross?
I got 120.
Yes!
I got
Which
140.
you should not have.
Fine. If we take the draft points out, I'm still beating
No,
you by.
you're not.
I'm beating you by more, actually.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am. I'll be beating you by 100 points if we take the
I
draft
don't
points
believe-
out.
I don't believe that. We'll figure
Either
it
way,
out.
you're losing. You can count and recount, and once it gets to the Supreme Court, even they can't give it to you. I know you're used to that kind of entitlement. A lot to talk about on the Pro Wrestling Report this week, including Extreme Rules, 2 titles changing hands, 3 titles changing hands, actually, 2 majors and 1 that wasn't even advertised to be on the show. Raw, featuring The Rock's birthday celebration this past Monday night. WWE shareholder meeting, some interesting comments coming out of that. TNA has gone official, David Hero, with their new direction.
They changed it.
And their name change.
How about
and
that?
we're going to talk about Michael Cole, specifically in his role in WWE right now. But David Hero, let's start and talk about Extreme Rules this past Sunday night on pay-per-view. And while if you want to hear our complete review of that pay-per-view, be sure to listen to the post-show. Available on YouTube, on Pro Wrestling Report website, PWRshow.com, and on Blog Talk Radio, and also on iTunes. So, Cena is the new WWE Champion. John Cena is the new WWE Champion, defeating your boy, The Miz. David Hero, this one's a bit interesting because I can't find anybody who feels that John Cena should again be wearing the WWE Championship around his waist. Why, oh why, did WWE go this route?
Do you know why? Because they want to see the Super Friends lose. That's why.
Aside from the fact that your selection of The Miz in the draft, you now single-handedly have ruined that poor man's career by now him being associated with you. You've tainted him. You have tainted The Miz. You've tainted him. He's psychologically, we've been talking, he's under duress. He can't understand why you went through so many efforts and leaps and bounds to select him in the draft. So his mind wasn't in it this past Sunday, and he lost the WWE Championship as a result.
He's the blue chipper. He's the guy that I was going to build a team around. He has dropped the ball and kicked it out of bounds.
He's dropped the ball.
I didn't lose the title. He did. He was the guy that, lost to John Cena, the guy who doesn't need any title belt at all.
The number one guy in the company, how could he not need a title belt?
He doesn't need it. John Cena...
Shouldn't your number one guy be the champion?
No, not at all.
Why not?
Because the number one guy doesn't need to be the champion. He's already the number one guy.
How does he stay number one?
The belt is a prop to elevate certain guys now. It doesn't mean as much as it did back when Hogan had it, or Bob Backlund had it, or the Macho Man had it. No, it's a prop. Today it's used as a prop, which is so obvious by the way it just flip-flops all over the place.
Well, the Miz had it since November.
The most uneventful title reign in the history of pro wrestling.
Uneventful? Really?
Uneventful.
All the discussion that spurred from the Miz being champion. You're calling it uneventful.
The most uneventful. Yeah, because it meant nothing.
More uneventful than Bob Backlund's second reign.
That was completely transitional. Come on. I'm telling you right now, they could have done some great things with The Miz, and they did absolutely nothing with The Miz. Big deal. He got on TV. He had a bunch of late-night talk shows. Who cares? That means nothing.
So John Cena should not be WWE champion.
Not
you feel
at all.
WWE should have kept that title on The Miz?
On The Miz. At least for another couple months. If they truly wanted to build The Rock and Cena to be a big match, now they got to keep the belt almost on Cena until WrestleMania now. Because he really can't slip and fall and trip on his way to The Rock.
Could the distraction, as we get closer to WrestleMania, the distraction of his pending match with The Rock cause him to lose the title?
It could. But like I said, The Miz, and this, I don't care if he's on my team or if he was on your team or what fantasy points he would have got me.
Right.
For the better.
Yeah, sure you don't care
No,
because you're
seriously.
losing. I see you're positioning now, aren't you? You're positioning
for
for
the
your pending
betterment
failure.
of the business as a whole. The Miz needed to keep that title belt around his waist. He comes out on Raw, average guy.
I will agree with that. Unfortunately,
The luster is gone.
It wasn't allowed
the charisma
to
is
as much.
gone. He is just. He's less of a guy than when before he was the champ.
Well, he had the briefcase.
See, he needs a prop to be over. He had the briefcase.
You
then he
just
had the
said
title.
everybody but the number one guy needs a prop to be over.
The Miz isn't the number one guy.
I know that.
Yeah, so
But he
needs
falls in
he
that
needs a
category of
prop.
everybody but the number one guy. There's no disagreement here that John Cena has no reason being WWE champion, and that the WWE title should still be around the waist or over the shoulder of The Miz.
You know, when I was at
He's awesome,
Mines
you know.
and I was watching the match and Ron Killings gets involved, I'm like, I like it. R-Truth. I like it. He got involved. He shined. He looked like the tough guy heel that he's
He
meant
wasn't
to be.
shining anyone's shoes, really? Really, David?
Wow.
Really?
I didn't say that whatsoever. He looked great. He served his purpose. But the problem was for Ron Killings, for R-Truth to fully serve the purpose of being the heel, the guy that turned on John Morrison, would have been for him to go in the ring and make sure the Miz, another heel, leaves as champion and leaves John Morrison laying and leaves John Cena, just piled up somewhere. That creative is just, what is wrong with them?
What's the end game here? Is there a short-term goal that we're missing? Does WWE need the Miz to carry need Cena to carry SummerSlam?
Now, no. With all that being said, I've always been the guy that says the Miz has yet to win that big match. Right?
Well,
right?
He beat John Cena at WrestleMania twice.
Thanks to The Rock.
He beat him twice.
Doesn't matter.
He won that big match.
Listen,
how much bigger does it get than the main event of
now is an
WrestleMania?
opportunity for the Miz to chase Cena and get the belt back and beat him the way he should beat him. To establish himself as a top guy, a mid to top guy.
Do you really believe in your heart of hearts that that's going to happen?
It could happen.
Do you believe that
Vince
it will?
McMahon loves The Miz. If they want to do business right and create The Miz the illusion that he is a top guy, then he has
illusion?
Then he has to have that big victory. He's
I argue
beat
that he
nobody.
hasn't.
What?
I argue that he has that big victory. He beat John Cena right in the middle of that ring at WrestleMania. Twice.
After a rock bottom.
What is that? Why are you getting wrapped up in those
No,
details?
because those are important details. He has not beaten anybody on his own. He's had 3 wins. John Morrison crash and burn through a table. Jerry Lawler, thanks to Michael Cole. The Rock, thank you, John Cena, thank you, Rock.
But they're wins, they're victories nonetheless.
Even cowardly champions, once in a while, had the handful of tights and beat the guy on his own. Miz hasn't even done that. That's not awesome.
But you still say that The Miz should still be WWE
Right,
champion.
because they got to establish him. Let him do those things I just talked about.
Is this the rehearsed segment that you did for your appearance that was scheduled on Glenn Beck? Because you've just talked yourself around a complete circle.
No, I did not. I
The
spoke
Miz
the
sucks.
truth.
The Miz doesn't deserve to be there. He hasn't beat anybody.
Right now, no. So give him the chance to be that guy.
But he should be champion.
Yeah, but he can do those things as the champion. He can beat John Cena as the champion. He could have beaten Randy Orton as the champion. That's another thing.
Don't say the RO word. You know, a lot of people hot out there about
Randy Orton, I mean, he beat Randy Orton because of Nexus. He has yet to beat anybody on his own. Even when Ric Flair had the Horsemen helping him, at least Ric Flair could beat the guy. The Miz can't beat anybody. You know what? Deep down, you know I'm right.
So you're saying it's a reset for The Miz, basically.
It might have to. Well, they should reset.
That
for the
long
Miz.
term will benefit him.
Yes. If they truly want to make The Miz one of the leaders of the Raw brand, that's what they got to do.
Christian won the World Heavyweight Championship this past Sunday at WWE Extreme Rules. He did so in a ladder match against Alberto Del Rio.
A very good ladder match.
A tremendous ladder match where both men shined, did Christian and Alberto Del Rio. At the end of the matchup, though, it would be Edge getting involved.
Was he really involved?
Well, he distracted Alberto Del
He
Rio.
was just, yeah.
And Christian winning the World Heavyweight Championship in what, as you said, was a great ladder match. Christian meets his destiny and becomes World Heavyweight Champion.
And it took, what, 2 years for the TNA stink to wash off before they put the belt around his waist?
See the first TNA star to be a WWE World Champion?
No. Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Christian in that role, Christian on top of the mountain, if you will, as the World Heavyweight Champion over Alberto Del Rio. Now, you did say and be the booker that this was one that could have gone either way. It was unsure
way.
which way it was going to go. It ended up going Christian's way. That moment with Edge happening in the ring,
That's what
is that
people
the
wanted to
direction they
see.
should have gone? Christian for champ on Twitter all weekend long.
Absolutely.
People wanted it.
Yeah, everybody wanted Christian to be the guy with the big gold stop sign around his waist, and that's what they got. Christian, finally, your time has come.
Did Christian deserve it? Granted, the fans wanted it, but did Christian deserve that spot as the World Heavyweight Champion?
I think so because he worked when he got back. He worked extremely hard. He helped carry and mold the Sheamuses, the Jack Swaggers, the Ezekiel Jacksons on the ECW brand. He helped those guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So did Goldust. So did William Regal.
Well, yeah, but the fans are connected to Christian in a different way because of the Edge and Christian tag team.
But even still, since Christian has come back to WWE, he still has not reached the heights of popularity that he had when he left
Because
WWE.
he hasn't been on Raw.
Exactly.
He's more of a wrestler's wrestler. That's why he's been on SmackDown.
It was a feel-good moment. It was a good moment on the pay-per-view.
It's what the fans wanted to see ENC embrace one more time. You know,
There was no 5-second pose, though.
Oh, there was 5 seconds.
Genuine emotion between the two of those gentlemen in the
Absolutely.
ring.
Absolutely.
Christian, the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we do have to tell you this. There was a significant development on SmackDown. We're going to give you the opportunity in a separate episode available on our website, pwrshow.com, to hear about that development and our analysis on that development, which has sent the Twitter world on fire.
Fire!
All week long. We don't want to spoil it for you because it is a substantial
But it is Friday.
event.
He'll be fine.
It's Friday, but we are, pushing this out before SmackDown
I know.
so our fans can get their PWR action. So that analysis on this Friday's SmackDown, tonight's SmackDown, available at pwrshow.com right now. So as soon as you're done watching this episode, hop on over there, and we will share with you our thoughts on tonight's SmackDown. WWE Raw from this past Monday night featured a matchup between John Cena and The Miz, a rematch for the WWE Championship. David Hero, I, for one, was surprised at how good or how well The Miz was able to carry John Cena to a passable match.
Carry? What do you mean? Well, the heels are supposed to carry the babyface.
That's what he did. It was a great match.
It was a very good
Told
match.
a great story.
Very solid, but overshadowed.
We'll get to that in a minute, but the ending of the matchup, The Miz won the WWE Championship back. The Miz is a two-time champion.
No, he did not win. He did not win.
The referee reversed the decision. If Miz didn't win, what decision did he reverse?
When you reverse it, it means that the first one didn't happen.
If you're in your vehicle and you pull forward, then you back up. Weren't you there before? Weren't you already there?
Depends
Where you backing up
Depends
to?
what the referee says.
There's no referee when you're driving.
Oh, there's a referee.
The Miz is a two-time champion.
No, he's not.
He's a two-time champion.
How many times?
Two-time champion.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Then he's one of the shortest reigning champions of all time. Put that in your stats.
The Miz pins John Cena 1, 2, 3. Beat John Cena 1, 2, 3. In the middle of that ring
6
Monday night.
seconds later, the referee reverses it. Now the Miz is a 6-second world champion, and the belt goes back to John Cena.
It was longer than 6 seconds. That's
8.
That's how long Yokozuna had it at WrestleMania 9.
12.
But is that the way that match should have gone, or should the Miz had recaptured?
They never should have had
championship?
that match yet.
They had to have some match because
No,
there wasn't much
they didn't have to
wrestling
have
this
that
past
one.
Monday night.
Not at all. They could have had John Cena against Drew McIntyre.
He was buried in a tag team matchup.
But
I don't mean
there
buried,
was no
but he was
reason
in a
to
tag
have
team
that match yet. Let Miz come out, be the crybaby that he is, and whine and complain about getting screwed, and blame Ron Killings, blame Spider-Man John Morrison, blame that the cage was faulty, whatever it is. Don't go into the match
All
right with
valid
John
points,
Cena.
by the way.
They just rush everything. Take your time.
It was The Rock's birthday celebration. Was it too much?
It was...
You had Pitbull, you had
know what?
Maya,
You know what? It was too much, but it was not enough of what we wanted.
And what did we want?
We didn't want all the crap that came along with it, first of all.
Crap, like
Pitbull.
Really?
Like Maya. We
Who's
don't need
Miami?
that. We didn't need the Heat dancers.
it's Miami.
That's fine. We didn't need it. Have little skits, have like little flashbacks to what The Rock used to do.
Or there were a
fun
lot of
with
people
it.
there he could have interacted with just the same.
Exactly.
And you got to give some credit to his interaction with Michael Cole early in the program.
Michael Cole did a tremendous job. That goes without saying, just about every week, Michael Cole has been the star heel every week.
Which is
A bad
a
thing.
very bad thing. Not only was it The Rock's birthday party, but it was a patriotic celebration of our country, obviously, with the news of the capture of Osama bin Laden this past Sunday night, which really took a lot of steam out of the pay-per-view, by the way. I'm not faulting it, but, as soon as this news
Who
started
would have
developing,
thought
I stopped watching the pay-per-view.
that-
Luckily, I didn't get to suffer the trauma of The Miz losing.
The Miz's title run ends the same day they get the #1 terrorist in the entire universe. That's amazing.
Well, you single-handedly ruined The Miz's career.
He's lucky that they got
The other 11 people on your draft roster better be concerned.
They're lucky-
because you, my friend, are a career ender.
Miz is lucky they got OBL. Okay, it's perfect because it just overshadows the fact they lost the title.
Damn. The Rock made out with Mae Young, David Arrow.
Even Mae Young needs love once in a while.
Yes, it was too much. It was so... If The Rock was doing it, it would have been way overboard. But the fact WWE was doing it for him made it less overboard, but
It was
still
forced.
overboard.
The whole thing was forced.
Yeah.
It wasn't The Rock's flow to anything. Even when he was in the back with all the divas, it wasn't the same charisma that we're used to having. You know what I mean?
Vince McMahon comes out and thanks The Rock.
Almost breaks down and starts crying.
Vince McMahon, yes.
Yeah.
And welcomes The Rock back to WWE and thanks him for coming home, and then shows a nice video piece, and then put the pyro, the streamers, the balloons, and the celebration to take her off the air. Now, what's interesting is people talk with their eyes when it comes to what's on television as far as wrestling goes. And a good number of people tuned in to the first hour of Raw, but about 400,000 people tuned out for the second hour of Raw. Very unusual viewing pattern for WWE television, WWE Raw specifically. Does that tell a story about what the universe, if you will, thought about this Rock celebration?
But you know what? Here's the thing.
The thing is, they're
There's
watching Dancing with the
a
Stars.
whole lot of news going on Monday.
True. Well, but they tuned in for the first hour, Dave.
Right, but what time does the news normally start? The second hour.
What news do you... Oh, well, for the 13 minutes of the day that the Fox News Channel actually reports news, yeah, for you it happens at around the 9 o'clock Central Time hour. The rest of the day is just mindless flutter coming from the mouths of idiots.
That's hurtful.
It's the truth. It's not news. It's entertainment. Why did 10 million people tune into CNN Sunday night, making it the #1 news network in the world? Because people know to go to CNN for news.
Or I'm not debating that.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not. Why are you getting so defensive?
In a unique case of irony, I have a gig with the Fox News Network Friday.
Really? Tonight?
Yes. Well, yes.
That's exciting.
It's a gig I did not select.
Megyn Kelly is smoking hot. I'm jealous.
She will not be part of it.
Oh, well, then I'm not jealous.
We saw the evolution of R-Truth on Raw Monday night. More of his beatdown of John Morrison. Obviously, those two going into a match in just 2 weeks' time, I believe it is, when we go into Over the Limit, where not a match has been announced, by the way. And
in 2 weeks, is it Over the Limit?
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks. It's very close. May 19th.
How are they going to book that thing? It's going to be all thrown together. It's going to be sloppy and crappy.
On Raw,
they call it Over the Limit.
On Raw, there was not a single actual wrestling match in the first hour of television.
No.
You had the Morrison versus whoever tease, which R-Truth got in the middle of. You had Kelly versus Maurice, which brought Karma down to the ring.
You know what the interesting thing about Karma is? She's going after all the heels.
I actually had not noticed that.
She's not chasing the baby faces.
Well, she didn't go after Kelly like we thought.
She could have gone after Layla, didn't do it. She could have gone after Kelly, didn't do it. She goes after the heels. You got to wonder what's going on. Who would have thought Karma would be a baby face?
But
it makes sense.
That's certainly not how she's being presented.
But listen, it will be because she will say that she was the one picked on by the homecoming queen. Maurice, Michelle McCool.
The pretty girls.
Exactly. And then the other diva, gets her shoulder separated. Can't talk about that. That really hurt my feelings. To send her a get well card, flowers, candy.
She'll be fine.
I hope so. It's the face of SmackDown.
I want to remind all of you to subscribe to the Pro Wrestling Report on iTunes. Get our radio shows each and every week. And if you're a current subscriber, make sure you visit our website, pwrshow.com, because we are eliminating one of our iTunes feeds. So if you subscribe to the old iTunes version of the show, you will no longer get updated episodes. And meaning if you heard that announcement on your iTunes feed, you need to update your feed to get our Blog Talk Radio iTunes episodes, so you never miss an episode.
And we're on radio this coming week?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
540 ESPN, but each and every Monday night, regardless of our ESPN radio schedule, we will be live on Blog Talk Radio right after WWE Raw goes off the air, so be sure to tune in that every Monday night. Regardless, we understand it's difficult to follow our schedule at times, and ESPN Milwaukee has been very good to us. However, they have other commitments that they need to meet with the Brewers and such. So, we'll be on 540 ESPN Wednesday night next week, but we'll be on Monday again with the post show.
So we'll be on twice next week on Blog Talk?
There are some weeks where we do 3 or 4 shows.
Holy crap. That was not in the contract.
Oh, it was.
It was not. I read it twice.
You did not read it. Sylvan did the best job wordsmithing that contract that he's done for anybody's. Frank's was like 2 pages. Yours was 17.
I got the Nash contract, didn't I?
No, because he would have read his.
All right.
WWE held their annual shareholders meeting last week, and while you may not think that that is very newsworthy, there is a couple things that came out of it that people have grabbed onto that are worth discussing. The first of which being WWE talking about expanding its programming and putting more product out there on television. Now, David Harrell, one of the first ventures to this initiative was WWE Tough Enough. So far, Tough Enough has been a show that has been getting very, very good reviews, about 2.5 million viewers a week, which is very strong. And the USA Network has teased that there may be a second season of Tough Enough, and we still don't know who won, but we've seen a lot of eliminations. Your thoughts on that broadcast, Tough Enough, so far?
I've enjoyed the Tough Enough show. I mean, I like the new version. I also like the old version. Mm-hmm. I thought that with Al Snow's team, they taught the guys more in the ring. This version of Tough Enough, it's more about being bullied by Hugh Morris and Booker T. But Steve Austin's been fabulous.
Absolutely.
He's been freaking tremendous.
Better than I thought he would be.
Same
and I'm not
here.
even sure where my expectations were. I mean, you knew he'd do good, but I'm not sure I knew it'd be this
Austin
good.
could relate to these kids. And he's done a great...
Why not?
Because he's one of the top 3 all-time, box office draws in the history of pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. And he's actually done a really, really good job of being compassionate when he's needed to be compassionate and tough when he's had to be tough. It's funny because some of these kids I have worked with in the past along on the indies, and some of them are exactly what I thought they were. And I'm not surprised some of them are in the spots that they are.
Aside from Tough Enough, what other programming directions do you feel WWE should branch off in? They have a great relationship with NBC Universal, which obviously is a ton of cable networks and the namesake NBC network. But Tough Enough has been a success. NXT, not such a success. Superstars, not such a success. So in this instance, now, unlike other previous ventures, non-wrestling seems to be the way to go for them. Non-in-ring competition wrestling seems to be the way to go for them.
Yeah, I mean, everyone still wants the story. They want to hear the good versus evil. They want to see how, like Shawn Michaels, the boyhood dream.
It became a reality.
People want to see the boyhood dream or the little girl's dream. That's what they want. People don't tune in all the time just to watch wrestling. They want to hear the promos. They want to have the emotional investment in that story. They want a reason to cheer or boo somebody. Absolutely. If wrestling was 2 hours nonstop of just competitive matches, people will be bored.
And they'd tune out.
And they would tune out.
But that's what everybody out there wants, David Hero. People want wrestling matches. That's what they say.
They don't know what they want.
Does Vince know what they want
Vince
more
does
than they know what they want?
Why he knows? Because he had 70,000 people in Atlanta for WrestleMania. The fans didn't pick those matches. The fans, they bought the tickets, but Vince knows what the people want. Vince McMahon knows that 2-hour block on Raw of just competitive wrestling matches is not going to draw a good rating because people aren't going to tune in. That's why there was a Piper's Pit. That's why there was the Heartbreak Hotel. That's why there was
the Brother Love Show.
Brother Love, the Snake Pit. That to break it up so people could connect. They could see the other side of the wrestlers and say, okay, this is how they really are, or this is what they could be. Deliver the storylines.
Tough Enough, obviously not PG, as WWE in-ring wrestling programming is. It gives them another opportunity to continue to branch away from that. I don't know what their next stop is on this journey of creating more programming. They've taken the family approach with films, and those have become somewhat successful.
They've been ridiculous.
This latest film featuring Randy Orton is said to be pretty good.
How long is he in it for?
Maybe 8 minutes?
Yeah. An hour and a half, 2-hour movie. He's in it for 8 minutes.
But The Rock was in The Scorpion King for how long? 5 minutes?
Doesn't matter. Everyone knew The Rock wasn't in it that long.
I now understand why this table is round.
Because they're trying to make Randy Orton to be like he's the star of this movie.
Right. Much
Hulk
like they
Hogan
did The
was
Rock
in
for
Rocky
Scorpion
for 8
King.
minutes, 12 minutes. There's a duck around here somewhere.
Their strategy in films is working to a degree now. Mm-hmm. Tough Enough worked. I don't know where they go next. There have been rumors of that Santino Marella comedy.
That would be great. I could see that. It won't last very long.
The talent pool that they have.
Give Zack Ryder his own TV show.
There you
If
go.
you can go more than 6 minutes.
The talent pool that they have is probably one of the best acting talent pools in Hollywood right now. You know what I mean by that? They have the potential. They have the people.
They have characters.
They have the characters. It's just a matter of developing those characters in the proper form and in the proper format to get that emotional investment.
I say give CM Punk his own reality show.
About? Straight edge lifestyle?
Straight edge lifestyle in the world of wrestling.
What do you want him standing on a street corner with a megaphone talking about
No, I think CM Punk, is one of the most entertaining guys in the company.
No doubt about that.
I mean...
But he's leaving. Haven't you read on the dirt
sheets? His match with Randy Orton was tremendous. Maybe, the way he sells, just the way he moves around the ring, he makes things believable. He sucks you in with his promos. He's the top guy. I think CM Punk is the best in-ring performer in the company today.
We'll see where WWE goes with their programming options, and of course the WWE Network on the horizon. They also talked about that, saying perhaps it would be a non-traditional network available on some other non-traditional media channels as opposed to just having a cable channel. But David Hero, the big news where the item came from, what was obviously it was a fan who asked the question of when WWE asked directly to Vince McMahon when he was going to buy TNA. Mm-hmm. Now, this guy, I don't know, have you seen the video?
No, I have not seen the video.
It was still real to him, damn it. And, he said that Stephanie McMahon was smarter than Dixie. Stephanie was in the room, got a chuckle. If you read the reports, it is a lot less intense and a lot less reaction from Vince McMahon than the reports are online. Now, you can watch the shareholders meeting in its entirety on our website, pwrshow.com, and judge for yourselves. We report, you decide. And
Stephanie should be smarter than Dixie. She should be. She grew up in the business.
I'm not disputing whether or not she is.
Right,
I'm
but,
just saying
for anyone to say, oh my gosh.
No, there are some people that reported it as Vince chuckled, Vince said right, Vince said yes, Vince said no, when all he was doing was having the conversation as opposed to actually agreeing. And there was a fun moment, don't get me wrong, there was a fun moment when the comparison was made between Dixie and Stephanie, but the money shot, the real question was about the purchase of TNA. Vince not answering it. First thing he said was, I didn't realize they were for sale, which is a standard answer to try to get out of something. Then when pressed on it, he actually answered, maybe. So, David Hero, TNA is a privately held company. Its parent company, Panda Energy, is a privately held company. The chances are not very likely that this would happen. But I would venture to say in the year 2000, you wouldn't have thought that 1 year later, Vince McMahon will have purchased WCW. So, we know that, we'll talk about it in the next story, we know TNA is going through a repositioning of their brand.
Rebranding.
Over the next few weeks. The question's been asked, the story's been told. What weight do you give to any chance, any possibility of a purchase, a buyout of TNA Wrestling?
It's pro wrestling. Anything can happen and usually does. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Okay, let's play what if.
Okay.
Let's go to the what if machine. Let's say, for instance, WWE were to purchase TNA Wrestling. The contract is signed.
Yes.
First step. The purchase is done. First step. You now own TNA Wrestling. You're Vince McMahon. First step.
Vince takes it over to the shredder and drops it in.
Really?
He doesn't want TNA Wrestling.
Really?
Why would he want it?
But didn't he learn? Didn't WWE learn from their WCW purchase that competition is what they need?
You just said, what if he buys it?
Uh-huh.
You didn't say, what if he doesn't buy it?
Right, but what did they try to do with WCW when they acquired that?
But they won't do an invasion angle because nobody wants...
No, not necessarily an invasion angle, but they tried to run it as two separate companies under the WWE brand, which led to the brand extension of Raw and SmackDown.
Listen, if Vinnie Mac wants to do his own TNA, he'll do FCW. He'll do his developmental league.
Which they already essentially own.
Well, they do own it, but he'll put that on TV instead.
But with an acquisition of TNA comes Kurt Angle, comes Hulk Hogan.
But does he want
Eric
those
Bischoff,
guys?
comes Ric Flair.
I believe someone told us once before, when Vince doesn't want you, there's a reason. Mm-hmm. So why would he bring him back?
Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode.
Where do they fit in? You got to think about it. Take those guys, and where would they fit in the Raw and SmackDown puzzle?
I'm not even going that far. In my opinion, after that contract is signed, nothing changes. It's subtle changes. TNA continues to do
Some
as
of the
it
guys
does.
you mentioned were tag team wrestlers. There's no tag team wrestling in the E.
True. But that's the thing. You have many parent. Look at GE, General Electric.
Yes.
You know, they used to own NBC. NBC, which also owned the Universal theme parks. It owns several cable networks. GE is branched off into many different companies. Mm-hmm. The parent is GE. All those companies run individually. Now, they don't own companies where they compete against each other, compete against themselves. But WWE can be the umbrella company with Raw, SmackDown, and TNA running over there. Maybe we'd never know if that purchase were to happen, and they'd run them separately.
Right.
Because they can make, TNA could be a lucrative revenue stream, correct? Can be.
Absolutely, it could be.
So why give that up? Taking egos out of it, taking any do I want out of it.
It's just so much work to run all those other events.
True. And you certainly wouldn't keep the people running the company now.
No, of course not. They're all gone.
So then you absorb it, and quickly it becomes a mere extension of your other products. Let me say this. We, as wrestling fans,
we don't want that to happen.
are losers if there's another big acquisition in wrestling.
Pal. I'm not wearing that L on my forehead. Because I'm winning.
I want to remind all of you to follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter username is @PWR Show. You can also follow all the details and information on the 2011 Pro Wrestling Report Draft. Our username on Twitter for the draft
you
is
are way too smug about this draft.
@PWR Show.
Way too
Let me tell you this,
smug.
bro. I am dominating.
Through a month and a half.
Doesn't matter. All you sheep out there, not all of you, but all the people that are following him blindly, who said, look at Damien's roster. Oh, it's crap. He's like, I could read a few of those comments. I'd have Linda read them if she were here, but she's still on assignment. Mm-hmm. And now look at me, winning,
Is there a Briscoe
dominating.
car?
Potentially. Could be two. Winning, dominating. Mm-hmm. And you got nothing to say.
I have nothing to say about it. Do you?
No. I was even talking to senior intern Cal the other day, and he was congratulating me on my dominance in the draft.
I know. That's
So,
too much.
@PWR Draft, and several great fans out there following or doing their own fantasy drafts, and you can go ahead and let us know how you're doing in your respective drafts at our Twitter account @PWR Show. David Hero, we talked earlier about TNA next week. We're not going to spoil it, but a big return. A former Intercontinental Champion.
Yes, how about that?
Will be on Impact next week.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Without getting into the details of that, also next week on Impact, something will be made public that has been talked about, including on this program for the last few weeks, and that is the rebranding. What's going on over there? I'm trying to talk to the people, the universe out there, and what are you up to this time?
I am not up to anything at all. That is hilarious. These
The
interns are way too much.
rebranding of TNA Wrestling as Impact Wrestling. We know that they've got the domain. We know that they've copywritten it. And we also know this. If you're Dixie Carter and you're going into a meeting with investors or advertisers or whatever, and you're introducing yourself as the president of TNA Wrestling, in general terms, if you're not familiar with TNA Wrestling, when you hear TNA, you think
I'm not going to repeat that.
T&A, which immediately puts a black cloud over whatever is going to be said after that. I know firsthand that a lot of big companies.
I've gone to people and say, "Hey, have you seen TNA Wrestling?" And they think it's a bunch of strippers. They do. Not gonna lie about it. They do. Hey, listen. I'm serious. Okay, when I do Blizzard Brawl, and I bring in Tracy Brooks and ODB, I don't put down TNA superstars. I put down wrestling knockouts. I don't want people to get the wrong impression that aren't wrestling fans. It's true.
A lot of companies, a lot of advertisers, a lot of people that TNA would probably want to do business with will not. They don't want to say, "Oh yeah, we're working with TNA." You don't want to have something like that on the books. Oh yeah,
Who
TNA,
doesn't want to work
this?
at TNA though?
So from a positioning standpoint as a company, it makes all the sense in the world for them to go through a rebranding. And it's funny too because you look at WWE, which went from World Wrestling Entertainment to WWE in the last few weeks, and now you look at TNA Wrestling going to Impact Wrestling. Impact, obviously, the show that is their flagship. A lot changing in the world of wrestling right now, but this is a very, very smart move for TNA.
Please explain it to me why it's so smart.
It gives them a better position.
Right,
it
but
puts
some people
wrestling
don't
in
know
their
who
name.
TNA is, and now they're changing the brand name.
So how is it going to hurt them?
No, I understand, but it's like, I mean, when they got the F out,
Yeah,
it was a big splash.
a huge campaign. They spent millions of dollars on that campaign.
TNA didn't do it that way.
As a matter of fact, the way the announcement is made, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm not sure if, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. Mm-hmm. It was just, and part of that, refocus on a new name being Impact Wrestling. They're going back to somewhat what they had before, which is the We Are Wrestling thing, but saying it's going to be wrestling.
We'll see. We'll see how they do it.
You don't think it'll get them anything?
It's going to help open a few doors for them, but it doesn't.
So they're the IW.
It doesn't have the flash. It doesn't have the sizzle. Impact Wrestling.
It forces people to say wrestling, though. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying TNA or WWE, you're saying Impact Wrestling.
You know what? I never really cared for the name TNA Wrestling.
And for those of you that don't know, TNA Wrestling, part of when they had the connection with the National Wrestling Alliance, where it was NWA TNA, it was National Wrestling Alliance, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. Mm-hmm. So they probably should have done this a couple years ago. Well,
Yeah.
Wow, here's an idea. Like when you get the biggest name in the history of professional wrestling,
Hulk Hogan?
maybe you rebrand your company around that.
Right?
Maybe that could have been one of the earth-shattering, game-changing, life-shaking announcements that TNA made.
Don't start.
What do you mean?
You're teasing, you're making fun of your company.
How's it my company?
Because you're a TNA apologist.
No. You are the TNA apologist.
Who have I apologized for?
Everybody?
Okay, if you think so.
No, I know so.
I only apologize for myself. And that never has to happen.
I think it's a great move. Impact Wrestling, and you'll see more details about that announcement, obviously, from TNA Wrestling next week. I want to make sure you join us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report. And on the post show this past Monday night, we put a question out to Facebook, David Hero, that we will first answer and then read some of those comments about Michael Cole. What do you do with a Michael Cole? What's next for Michael Cole? How does he get back in the broadcast position?
Michael Cole needs to wake up and smell the coffee.
He does, but one would say maybe he did do that because he's really transitioned into a...
He needs to let the stars be the heels.
But this isn't Michael Cole doing this.
I know, he has writers and stuff that point him in that direction, but...
He's done a great job with it. We've made that point several times.
He's done a fabulous job, but at the expense of others in the company.
True. Very true. Mm-hmm. So how do you use a Michael Cole? The question we asked on our Facebook page was, should Michael Cole be announced as the Raw general manager?
Not at all.
Really?
Not at all.
Wouldn't it fit?
It may end up being there. That may be the way of saving him from a future beatdown from Jerry the King Lawler.
I hope that's over.
I don't know. I don't think it is.
Ugh. I think it's a natural fit. I'm not sure there's any shine to it. Mm-hmm. You know, like when Vince McMahon announced he was the higher power, that was pretty cool.
I thought that was ridiculous.
Really?
I didn't like that at all.
Really?
That was a bait and switch.
It's me, Austin. Oh, son of a bitch. It was me all along. You all bought it. You all bought it hook, line, and sinker. You all bought it. That was great.
I didn't like it.
You tuned in to see who the higher power was.
Of course. I didn't want it to be Vince McMahon.
Does Michael Cole return to the broadcast position? I don't see how.
I think he does.
Really?
Yeah.
Here's what we've gotten out of this, and I made this point on the post show this past Monday night. From this Michael Cole thing and all that may be bad with it, we've gotten several goods. Mm-hmm. One good being good old JR back in WWE.
If that's good.
What?
They have abused that man nonstop since he's been back.
True.
Yeah.
True. Absolutely true.
That doesn't treat him.
But
with
we
any
get to
respect.
hear his lyrical genius.
Okay. We heard Hornswoggle's lyrical genius at WrestleMania 2.
Different kind of lyrical genius. Josh Matthews is slowly becoming the primary voice of WWE.
Very good, yes.
And people, I don't think, realize that that's happening.
No, because Vince likes the young, sexy guys.
We're on national television. Can you rephrase that? That was a bit slanderous.
What?
You just accused Mr. McMahon of being a pedophile.
No, he likes he wants a younger, hip, sexier looking audience, and by getting, a guy like Josh Matthews behind the microphone, that's how you do it.
Much better worded. Thank you very much for that.
That's
Much better
ridiculous.
worded. We got to keep it clean here, David Hero. You can't. I don't want a libel lawsuit.
Hey, whoa, amigo. Was I dropping F-bombs a few weeks ago on the draft? No. I was cool, calm, and collected. I was the 3 C's of this show. You. Who's in charge here? Yeah, not me. It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt.
Cal needs you for something. And you better not be up to anything. Because what you were just talking about?
Yeah.
It's going to happen again. I will lash out. And I have the brass, remember.
Yes, you do. You are the boss. Okay.
Let me carry this for just a few more minutes as well.
I'll be right back.
As I normally do. Why is he even here? I don't understand. 365 to 300. That's all I got to say about that. So you had some comments about whether or not Michael Cole should be the general manager of WWE Raw, or announced as the general manager of WWE Raw. Let's try to get to some. Oh, what was that all about?
Yes. Well, Cal and I have been talking. I need to bring him out here. Cal, please come out here.
No.
It'll be fine.
No. This is not. Look, there are run sheets here. Do you see all this?
Yeah.
This is what I have.
You see this? This is Super Friends #1 draft pick hat signed by Mr. Ken Anderson. Listen. This is important. You made fun of me for ruining The Miz's career.
I didn't make fun of you. You single-handedly ruined The Miz's career.
I am willing.
Put a brick wall in front of his steamrolling train.
Listen. I am willing to make things right. I'm willing. Cal, please show Mr. Nelson what I'm willing to give him right now.
Whatever this.
I am willing to send the number 3 or 4 draft pick, The Miz, from Super Friends, back to you, because I'll be quite honest.
Whoa, wait a minute. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, I'm willing to trade. I'm willing to trade you this guy, The Miz. And listen, I'm willing to take any one of your scrubs.
You dirty man, you.
I'm willing to
You
take
dirty. You sabotage The Miz's career. You ruined him as a man, and then you want to give him back up. You have used him like a $2 35th and Wisconsin Avenue girl.
Who are we willing to take in return?
No, what do you mean take?
Well, because you got to give me something back for this guy. I am willing to take the Pope of all people, the Pope Elicious, for The Miz. You got to get Sylvan to sign off on the trade.
There are no trades, bro. Don't you remember?
Listen.
There are no trades.
I am laying it out right here. It's for you. You can have your boy. Make it happen. I'm willing to trade you The Miz.
But there are no trades. There is an ironclad contract. Ironclad contract.
I'll take The Miz. I'll take Popalicious. How do you like that? Think about it.
What happens with associated points so far?
You keep your points, I keep my points.
My 65-point lead?
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to Sylvan, see if we can, This guy sucks. I really don't. I don't want him. He's been a complete disaster
for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Since you got your hands on him.
So I'll take Pope. At least he has upside.